Welcome, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Friday, December 6th, 2024. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first two cards in our 5-card spread. First two cards we're starting our day off with today. 10 of Cups in its reversal and combination. 10 of Cups in its reversal in combination with our 6 of Wands in its reversal. Let's talk about it, guys. Let's walk it through. This is a continuation of yesterday's reading. In our recap that we were just giving prior to the start of our reading, we need to talk a little bit about yesterday's cards again. Because we just need to admit, yesterday's cards, there was some heavy stuff there, man. This is junk drawer kind of energy. Better out than in. You got to get it at, you got to look at it. You got to assess it so that you can recognize and understand what you need to do with it. That's a lot of this work. All we see that keeps on coming up right now with this retrograde is assessing and facing energetic damage to a certain extent. That's not easy stuff. It stinks, right? It's frustrating, right? But is this the energy like working in that space of illusion? No, this is the energy that's working on facilitating this, because this is the overarching message again that says recognizing an obstacle is the first step in overcoming it. Recognizing an obstacle is the first step in overcoming it, because being able to assess and recognize what is energetically happening, that allows you to effectively overcome something. But in the process of doing that, it's annoying, right? It's clumsy, and I see even now, but in that moment, right? And this is the gift of the retrograde. Often it is in the moment that we get to the bottom of something, right? It's the moment that we have a breakdown, that we're able to have a breakthrough, because it's in that moment or that modality that we see that clarity comes to the surface, right? Like we talk a little bit, and I have to stress, this might be feeling a little energetically heavy, right? Because sometimes this feels like it feels a little bit like rock bottom energy, right? Now, when we say rock bottom energy, that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Because when you hit that moment, like the stability, what do you hit when you hit energetic rock bottom to a certain extent? You hit stable ground, right? Like you hit that modality where you recognize and feel that surety underfoot to a certain extent. So a little bit of this work, this is what I mean about this is starting energy. Right? Like this is the energy that you feel when you start something, because this is the energy that is recognizing the territory that is surrounding them. They're getting a feel for it, right? And this isn't the energy that like navigates that in such a way that you allow the frustration of a circumstance or situation to overwhelm you. Why do you look around? You look around to see what is in need of your own energetic support, like what you can do, how you can facilitate through something to a certain extent. That's hard work, right? This is heavy lifting type of energy. But again, why do we work on strength? We work on strength of the self, so that when something is energetically heavy, we can say to ourselves, I'm strong enough to lift that, right? I'm strong enough to lift that. Or even in some modalities, I need energetic help, right? So there's a lot of that feeling here that I see that is occurring as it relates to understanding and identifying what it's going to take, right? So that in itself, it's frustrating, but it's stabilizing. And depending on where your astrological placements are, it's going to feel different. It might feel better for earth sign energy today, right? Earth sign energy, this might feel like stable. For more of the rapid energies today, like air and fire, this may feel like a little bit more frustrating, right? Now, this is also having a different impact depending on where you find yourselves on the frequency cycles. For masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, this is more of that assessment or recognition point in the difference between what you can energetically change versus what is outside of one's own ability to navigate, right? And we talk about this work a lot. That recognition point in working through, facilitating and understanding. And this is vital and important. The power within oneself to change without moving beyond, right? Like without moving beyond one's own energetic integrity. Remember what we spoke about to a certain extent? Remember what we spoke about, all of this work that we've been navigating between understanding and identifying the egoic nature that wants things when they want things versus the integral self, right? A lot of that work in terms of facilitating between those points. This is more of that parsing, if you will. So we see even now, like a lot of that work that's being recognized and identified here, it's not easy, right? Because I see even now, like this is a lot of the energy that is facilitating and recognizing like what that what feels comfortable, right? And when we're identifying what feels comfortable, we also have to ascertain and recognize discomfort, right? So there's a lot of that work that we're seeing here for masculine and feminine. And so that could be like difficult conversations today, but working through that difficulty point and allowing for the breakthrough at the same time, right? It's like the hard conversation that is clarifying. It's like that difficult work that allows for that easement. And even here, this is, I see that the energy, feeling that sense of frustration, doubting yourself. This is the energy that almost articulates and says to one another, you doubt yourself because you care, right? You feel that anxiety more so because it matters. So a lot of that working on integrity, this is the energy that is identifying what that is, because this is how the energy is facilitating what feels energetically correct. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, a lot of this work that we're seeing right now coming into divine union, this is that frustration point that we're seeing as it may relate to the turbulence that you may be experiencing if something is moving into a tangible space. Recognizing and identifying that turbulence and trying to parse it out between, what did we just say? The difference between someone misunderstanding the integrity of something and being in a space of caring versus that modality of someone having more of their egoic self that feels like they're intervening. Like this is a lot of that work that may be frustrating, because that is facilitating forward in the recognition point that when we move anything forward, like when we create anything as it relates to something, we have to, like pathwork, we have to be ready to disappoint those around us to a certain extent, right? So I see even now, like a lot of that energy working through some of that. If there's even in like in a subtle way, that's frustrating, because that's the energy that feels like they're seeing something in a way that they couldn't see it before. And it's in that modality of recognizing something, it feels like that bittersweet element that's coming in right now as the energy moves deeper into commitment, because it's amplifying and articulating the feeling of the vitality of those that celebrate that versus those that start to question it, right? And in those moments, that is painful, right? That's a painful perception. While for energy, and even here, this isn't the energy that is questioning their direction. This is the energy that looks outside the self with a sense of clarity as they do so. While for energy and separation right now, this is those two modalities that I see that are occurring right now in separation. Either energy that just recently fell into separation because they looked at something and said someone's prioritization point was too focused on the desires of energy outside of partnership, right? Like, you have to be ready. If you don't recognize that you're going to have to disappoint energy along the way as you move deeper into connectivity, this is the energy that, like, again, there's conversations about prioritization that are happening in separation right now. And what's important about this is for the new connections that are forming, these are the energies that are saying, you don't have to tell me about that. I already know that story, right? Look at the conversation that's occurring right now for the energy. I told you, these are energies that are healing right now by sharing their energetic burdens. This is the energy, this is the continuation of that statement that I heard in separation, in terms of someone saying, I didn't expect to be here, but I'm glad I found myself here. Right? And when they say, I'm glad I found myself here, they mean I found myself. Here I am. I found myself. I understand and recognize what it is that is integral to me. Because this is the energy that says this was not, and this is why the energy is moving towards one another with trepidation, healing trust wounds as it relates to potentially working through past connections where someone articulated the desire for something, but didn't recognize the internal integrity that is required to actually build forth into something. Center card of our 5-card spread for today is, bam, look at that, 2 of Cups right there. And so what do we see here? Even in the articulation of the disappointment, we've got here, this is what I told you, this retrograde is being demarcated by a lot of new connections. A lot of new connections. And a lot of these connections that we're seeing, there's something significant here, because these are not energies like, look at this. This is energy saying you're talking to the choir, right? This is what the energy is saying. You're saying you're talking to the choir, because this is the energy that feels like they're hearing their story back towards themselves, because these are the energies that have found themselves on the same energetic journey. And they're not exactly the same. You can see even here, masculine and feminine having different perceptions on it, right? For feminine, it's that articulation of potentially saying to masculine, I recognize and identify, I can't drag someone into my manifestation. I'm not a ball and chain, right? This is the feminine saying, if someone does not want to move towards manifestation, then they're going to treat the manifestation goal like a ball and chain. While for masculine, this is masculine saying, again, much the same. If I, my desire to move forward with someone is amplified and articulated in me not being the one to pull something forward, but wanting to do something together. So we've got a lot of harmony that is occurring right now in these new connections that are forming. And for some of the energy, if there's energy here that just fell into separation, I've got here, this is the energy saying that person does not know how to does not recognize that when you need to move into partnership, you have to recognize you're going to upset others along the way. I just see some energy right now in separation saying that person put too much concern in the thoughts and the opinions of others, and doesn't recognize that you can't please everyone all of the time. And anytime you move into partnership, there's going to be energy that is going to have displeasure towards it. Because that's a lot of that conversation that we see right now that's occurring for the energy working into. This is the turbulence I told you about. This is the energetic turbulence that we're seeing right now for the energy coming into divine union. And a lot of that work that we're seeing even now, this is the energy saying nothing's gonna take us, like they don't like, and this is either the energy coming into divine union saying they don't understand, their heart's in the right place. They don't recognize how much we've been working to fix something. Right? So that is the parsing that feels like I understand it's coming from a place of integrity, versus energy saying they don't want to see us energetically together. The perception that often happens as you move into partnership in the recognition of others that may feel that path work, taking it too personally, because it feels like it's moving them in a direction that's oppositional to what they desire to be, which is more of that articulation and amplification that when you're going to move into partnership, you have to be prepared to make others uncomfortable. Whenever you create something that was not there, there's going to be a little bit of discomforture, right? Continuing to get clarification. Masculine and feminine, deep within divine union right now. This is the energy doing a lot of that parsing about their feelings. And it's uncomfortable when we talk about our feelings, right? These are uncomfortable feelings. And I see even now, there's a lot of this work that's happening right now in deep within divine union between how one feels and what one knows one needs to do, right? And and that's what's important with the energy deep within divine union is feelings. And again, this is what we mean when we say it's not that feelings don't matter, but the ability to ascertain whether the emotions of feelings is coming from the egoic state self that desires something versus the integral self. I'm getting here, there's a lot of oppositional force that's happening right now between the egoic self and the higher self. And that type of work can feel very frustrating because I see even now that that's a lot of the energy, feeling that internal conflict within. But again, processing it, working it out with the energy of the partner, the healthy counterpart without, right? And even there, like working through that, this is the energy that says that ability of doing so, that emotionality, that is a gift. Because these are the energies that say sometimes I have to move oppositional to my emotions because I'm moving in that pathwork of integrity. So we see even now like a lot of that energy feeling and building upon that sense of support. This is how the counterparts support one another. It's the honesty that we give each other that allows us to have the clarity within. Continuing, the next two cards in our 5-card spread are, we have here, oh, look at this, thank goodness. Temperance. These two cards may look familiar, my friends. These two cards may look familiar. Both of these bad boys were in our reading yesterday. Most important though, the Queen of Wands is back in their upright because yesterday they were in their reversal. Okay, for masculine and feminine deep within divine union right now, what is the amplification of the beauty of this? And this is a lot of that transformational quality that we saw that was occurring yesterday in the articulation of the energetic burden, right? Because if these are the energies that divest themselves of that emotional burden, right? These aren't the energies that let something go because it doesn't matter to them. This is the energy that holds space for how each other are feeling. And so for masculine, this is the masculine that is getting the gift from feminine of patience, right? Because this is the feminine that articulates to masculine and says, remember the difference between the emotion of desiring something immediately that sometimes moves you oppositional to what it is that you aspire to move towards, right? Like sometimes, like this is the feminine saying to masculine, don't block yourself. Don't let don't let that eagerness override your intentionality, right? And so this is masculine that's working on and getting the gift of patience from feminine within divine union. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. While for feminine, we see that this is a lot of the feminine that is similarly, this is the masculine that is empowering the feminine in, what did we say the conversation was? What did we say you were hearing for the energy and separation? Maintaining their energetic standards. This is the masculine saying, the healed masculine saying to divine feminine, energy that appreciates you will always honor your standards. Energy that does not appreciate you will rebuke you for having them. Energy that appreciates you will always honor your standards, and energy that does not appreciate you will always rebuke you for having them. So we see even now that a lot of that work that's being navigated here, working through this is how these energies, this is why they articulate what those frustrations are, because these are the situations, and this is why the energy feels supportive to one another, because when we articulate an energetic grievance, the healthy counterpart can act as that clear mirror. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, this is why there is that same parsing that we saw deep within divine union, now reaching down into the energy coming into divine union, because now we see that this is a lot of that energy here that is working through identifying and articulating what that is. Remember that if they're experiencing turbulence as they're coming into divine union right now from outside energetic forces, then this is the energy they're articulating and either coming from a place of empathy, right? Compassion, saying, look, we've had a long history. I know their heart's in the right place. They know I've changed. Like, they didn't realize I've changed. We've been working on the self. This is why the energy's having the sense of like not taking something personally, but acting with a sense of empathy, because this is either the energy that says they did not understand and now they have clarity, or this is the energy saying that's like that doesn't feel like a space of clarity. That feels like the energy of someone that desires that I was moving in a different direction. Right? So even here, there's a lot of clarity that is occurring there. And that's why I keep hearing that with a lot of those conversations that are occurring, I'm hearing once. Like, you clarify to something to someone once. And for a lot of this energy and separation right now, patience is a virtue. And the gift that the new energetic counterparts are giving each other are patience. But if there's energy that just fell into separation, this is why it feels like such a painful observation. Because if this is energy that fell back into separation over the turbulence that was occurring because of coming into separation, this is more of that energy that may be saying to someone, they didn't understand that there's never going to be a situation where that doesn't happen. There's always going to be a squeaky wheel. There's always going to be someone that is oppositional to sowing those seeds of doubt within them. And that's why, again, when we move with intentionality, we are observant of another person's concerns and fears, but we don't let them infiltrate our own intentionality, right? So we see even now, there's a lot of that energy that is potentially if these are new connections that are falling into separation here, this is the energy that's basically saying the priority of partnership is not prioritizing outside opinions, but remembering that the healthy connection is one that like keeps a pleasant ear towards them, but isn't affected by them. Continuing to get clarification between our Six of Wands in its reversal in combination with our Ten of Cups in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with, I love it. We've got here, if this card looks familiar, again, we've got a lot of the cards repeating that we saw yesterday. We've got our Devil card in its reversal. It's not that the feelings are a bad thing. This is why this work right now is so nuanced, because this is a lot of energy doing that sorting between the uncomfortable feeling that arises, right? When the ego, like either way, like, and this is the energy going, is this uncomfortable? Like, where is the phone call coming from? Like, this is the energy looking at themselves and going, where is the phone call coming? Is the phone call coming from the ego? Like the angry toddler ego that wants something right now and wants it exactly the way that they want it and they won't hear anything otherwise? Or is this coming from the higher self? Or is this coming from the higher self that says, no, the emotionality is rising up because it's something important, right? It's not about divorcing oneself from your emotions. It's not about emotions. Everything we have is given to us because it is a gift. It is a blessing. So there's a lot of this energy right now that is coming into that space of healing their emotions by operating and recognizing the difference between the healthy emotion that rises up when there's something energetically integral and important at stake, right? Versus the emotion that rises up because what they had the like, you know, like because they didn't have the wrong color of what you wanted, because like there's something there that just doesn't feel like, you know, it's not the thing you desire, it's not the thing you expected. It's not, those are different things, right? One is healthy, one is not. And so even here, this is happening across all the frequencies, that sorting process of saying, is this something that I feel like the valuation of the emotions to recognize if they're connected to the higher self or the egoic self. This is what is allowing for a lot of that work right now in healing, either within the self or outside of the self in partnership surrounding partner. Like within, like, this is the energy that's been doing that within partnership. This is how the energy has been coming deeper into partnership. And now this is the energy that is experiencing that and navigating that outside of partnership as well. That's happening across all the frequencies. Continuing to get clarification between our 10 of Cups in its reversal in combination. You see this with the 2 of Cups in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Two of Wands in its upright. And this is how the communications are being these are how, this is allowing, things are we just hit the milestone of the center of the retrograde. So things might start moving a little bit easier today, because being able to articulate it, they're saying to me, kind of like bingo energy, being able to put it into words today, finding the words, being able to express oneself in that way. This is why the energy deep within divine union does this, because in the ability to articulate one's feelings to another, putting weaving that together, you're effectively allowing for that sense of understanding something from a better perspective. And this is the dual optics, if you will, of recognizing something, feeling it within the self, bringing it forth to the counterpart, having the counterpart validate and correct it. And so there's a lot of that energy right now that's building into that valuation point via the articulation as to whether one is feeling something from the egoic self or from the integral self. While for masculine and feminine coming into divine union, this is why that energy is still doing the same, because they're trying to see something and figure out whether someone else's volatility about or frustration or concern as to whether an energetic connection is coming forward, whether it feels like it is valid. Because I see either now, that's either the energy saying, yeah, no, I understand why they feel like that, especially if these are energies that were in repair, being yeah, well, the version of us back then was but that's the energy going, okay, past that eclipse cycle, yeah, I can see why they would have thought that, especially if there was a disconnection point. So bringing someone up to speed, if you will, giving them the tea, helping them understand where you are, be no, I understand why you think that, let me correct you. Or if this is the energy saying, I think I see that is because there's that aspiration that they didn't expect or anticipate that would be occurring. They were hoping for a different outcome. A lot of that work here, we see even now, it feels like the clarification, right? So this is saying even now, it's a witnessed obstacle that is either assessed and recognized or overcome. While for energy and separation, look at this. I just need to show you. We've got double twos. We've got double twos right next to each other. These are new, either in separation right now. If this is energy that's been in separation a while, new energetic connections forming. A lot of harmony today as it relates to communication. This is guys, this is a special day in the retrograde. You typically don't see energy like this in the retrograde very frequently. And it's also speaking towards it feels resolving. It's also speaking towards, to a certain extent, and this is why, if this is energy that's falling into separation after all of this work, that's I see some stuff right now where that's it. I see, because even now, because that observation of looking at someone and saying, you have to recognize that when you are moving deeper into connection, there's always going to be someone that says, are you sure you want to do that? That person, really? You're always going to have those doubts rising up. There's always going to be someone in your space that has that puts that twinge of uncertainty there. But that's the difference between moving from the egoic self and moving from the integral self. And this is why I see some of those separations may be fundamental. Because if there's something here where someone feels like they moved away from something because someone took a shot at their ego and it worked, this is why some of these rifts could feel so fundamental. Because this is the energy saying, looking towards someone and saying, your priorities are out of whack. If you're only going to move into partnership when someone approves of it, you're not building forward for your higher self. You're doing something that looks good on paper. You're doing something that feels good for others, right? Continuing to get clarification between our Two of Cups in combination with our Temperance card. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with the Hierophant. A lot of conversations right now as it relates to energetic commitments today. A lot of that work that we see even now. And this is why I'm telling you even now, like this retrograde, there's a lot of new like there's going to be some new, these are some new partnerships that are forming. And these, like, there's no looking back here. Like these energies, like these are going to move. These are fast. These are energies that are coming together slowly and then moving very fastly once they do. Right? Because this is big. These are big cards to see right now for energy and separation. And there's a lot of clarity here. There's a lot of communication of intentionality. And this is like the energy slow start, because once they come together, it's like hit the ground running, right? While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now, this is breakthrough energy. Because again, this is not the energy that's moving deeper in, and this is why I say if the energy is falling into separation at this point, this is energy that's not looking back, because this is the energy feeling that turbulence and not even like batting an eyelash. Because this is the energy that's saying to one another as they move deeper into divine union, you know, when we're like, this is the energy saying it doesn't really matter what's happening outside of this, because what we're creating, the prioritization point, it's like come what may, right? That's the energy that says like, it doesn't matter what's on the outside. This is the energy that says, my focus is on you. My focus is right here. And these are the energies talking about those circumstances because they're within the relationship. They're sailing through them together, right? And if someone at that moment when that is occurring, someone like took like a knock at the ship and someone jumped overboard, this is why some of that energy and separation saying, I'm never getting back on that ship with you. Because this is the energy that says, is that all it takes? All of that work is extinguished because someone said something, someone made you question yourself for a second. This is why some of that energy is like, if that's the energy coming in separation, that's the energy saying like just walking away from something potentially and not looking back again. Energy deep within divine union. This is the refining of the partnership. This is smooth. This is slow and steady kind of thing. This is the energy that's working on patience right now, even through the retrograde process, because this is the energy navigating this retrograde, and it's like the sea, like there's no wind, like it feels like it's just kind of like navigating to a certain extent. You know, you recognize when you kind of go with the flow versus when you push against something, because that ability of doing so, it's requiring, I want to say, you know, it's a lot of that. I see a lot of planning and preparation that's occurring right now. Like when you have a lot of plans, you don't get frustrated when there's slowness, because it gives you an opportunity to plan, right? Because this is like lots of slow and steady energy today. Combination between our Temperance and our Queen of Wands, one card to clarify, clarification coming through right now with Nine of Pentacles, right? And this is what we talk about with the overcoming of the obstacle, you know, like, what do you do? Like if you walk in a room and it's messy, do you just sit down and go, this is terrible. It's just going to be messy forever, I guess. It's a shame. It would look really nice if someone cleaned it up. No, like you start picking stuff up, you know? And how do you do that? Even if it feels like it's overwhelming, like how do you eat a whale? The same way you eat a mouse, one bite at a time, right? Like a lot of this work to a certain extent, this is feeling like the energy, right? This is the energy that's kind of experiencing that deep within divine union. And this is why the energy is like, it doesn't really matter. All it takes is everything it takes. Like the work continues to a certain extent. So we see even now that this is the energy that if something else, like I see, if something else is slowed down, they're taking that time to cut something else up into pieces, because it allows you, like this is the energy that's keeping busy, because when you're in that path work, like you're always looking for you're just in that space of I want to get, like there's like perpetual motion that's occurring here, right? This isn't the energy that sits around and waits for an invitation. This is the energy that picks something up and just starts getting to it. While for masculine and feminine, and I see even now, like I see like a lot of that gift that is occurring right now within that is doing those things for one another. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of that here, picking up the slack, if you will. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now, this is that same message. When you're working on that, when you're on that pathwork of prioritization and purpose, you've got to be ready to disappoint energy around you. You can't. It comes part and parcel, right? Not every moment in our lives, sadly, even when we're moving in a direction that feels like it's right for us, it's not always met by those around us, and that's painful, right? That can be very painful. And I see even now that for some of that energy, even if something there is well intentioned, processing that pain, navigating that, like that is a lot of the energetic hurdle that's occurring here. But this isn't the energy that's feeling like that's a blocker. This is the energy helping each other over it as they proceed forward. While for masculine and feminine in separation, for the energy that's fallen into separation over this is why I see even now there's something like, it feels like a giant energetic this is damage here, because this is the energy that reaffirms and says if one is moving, if one recognizes that and the one sees that in another, the damage in relationality to another, putting doubt towards someone and then immediately them changing direction. This is the energy that, again, isn't looking back as they move forward, because this is the energy that looks at someone and says, you're not moving from your integral self. You're moving in the direction of your ego. You're letting your ego guide you, right? And the ego just longs for approval, right? The ego longs for approval. The higher self recognizes that sometimes that walk towards what they know they need to move towards is a lonely place. It gets dark there, right? But it doesn't change your direction. Continuing, and this is a lot of that energy I see even now that's articulating upon that pathwork and separation. And this is what the energy is doing. They're learning and they're recognizing each other in understanding that commitment is not what we move towards that's easy. Commitment is the thing that we move towards even when it's hard. Continuing to get clarification between our Devil card in its reversal in combination with our Two of Wands. This is a lot of that heavy healing conversations today. Judgment, right? More of that same message that I'm seeing for the energy and separation. I didn't expect to be here, but I'm glad to have found myself here, right? I'm glad to have seen something. Better to have, and this is sometimes what we have to navigate when we're healing. This is often sometimes we have to navigate when partnerships come apart, being like, it was hard to see, but I'm glad I saw it. Better to have seen it than to have not seen it at all. Because this is a lot of that energy in separation that says that viability point, this is the energy that says I couldn't move forward with the illusion of my emotionality, but the clarity through which I am able to recognize something that fosters and that builds that ability to move forward. This is why I keep seeing that a lot of the energy in separation, why are they moving towards each other so carefully? They're trying to recognize sound judgment, right? And sound judgment does not just move towards someone and to heck with the consequences. Energy that's in sound judgment articulates and talks towards their trepidation. They say, I'm moving towards you because this is important to me. I'm moving towards you slowly because I'm careful and I don't want to lose ground in how far I have come on my journey, right? And that's not, I need to point this out, that's not energy saying, how far can you take me? Right? This is an energy saying, I only want someone that's going to advance me forward. This is the energy that holds each other in esteem and says, I want to honor your journey. I know how much it's taking you to reach this point. I don't want to make you take a step backwards inadvertently, and I don't want you to make me take a step backwards inadvertently, right? So that is why I see so many of these new connections that are forming right now. Like these are no nonsense, man. I'm seeing even now, these are like slow starts and then like a lot of like right into deep commitment because of so much of this authenticity that we're seeing. While for a lot of this energy right now coming into divine union, this is why some of that navigating that turbulence right now, it is the parsing out as to why. And again, I have to stress some of these energies coming into divine union right now, they've been healing ever since the retrograde. So some of this energy, if they were experiencing a little bit of that turbulence as they're moving something into a deepening partnership here, I can see the energy saying, I understand it. I know that person has my best interest at heart. I know that person is concerned, especially if these are energies that have been working through some of that, the like some difficulty. And that's why we see even now there's two differentiations of forces that are occurring right now for the energy coming into divine union as it relates to some of that turbulence. The ability of correcting someone, showing someone that something has indeed changed, that there has been healing, right? That allows for that understanding. But if these are modalities where they're experiencing turbulence and someone feels very dogmatic in the fact that they don't feel positive about something, even in the state of articulating that it is something that is a celebration point, this is why there's something bittersweet here, because I see that there could be some like connections that are being impacted right now and potentially even severed as energy's moving deeper into partnership via that observation. Well, for a lot of this energy right now, that is deep within divine union, this is the energy that, like I keep seeing, celebrates. This is the energy that articulates to each other what they would like to do, right? But then does the thing that they know that they should do. Like, that's all I'm kind of seeing here. And this is what I mean. Like, these are not the energies that are together that like spur each other on. Like, you don't like encourage someone to do like the chaotic thing or something like that. But it's fun to talk about. Right? Like, I almost see even now, like, this is what I mean about some of that energy deep within divine union, letting off steam. Because like I keep seeing that there's something here. It has to do with some of that Sagittarius new moon energy being like, you know what I should do? Like, you know what I should do, but I won't. You know what I should do though, but I won't. Like, you know, like there's a lot of, but I could, but I won't. Like, there's a little bit of that type of energy here. And even there, it feels like it's restorative, right? Because that's how we let off steam. You know, it's like, you know, it's giving a little bit of that type of energy here. And it's like, you know, continuing to get clarification between our Two of Wands in combination with our Hierophant. There it is, upright. One card to clarify. Clarification coming through right now. With our 10 of Pentacles. So this is like, you know, this is again, not like, you know, feeling, and I want to point this out. Do you see, I want you, listen, if you have not seen it, I want you, when this reading is over, to go over to my Substack, graystrega.substack.com, and I want you to compare, okay? I want you to compare the cards that we saw yesterday with the spread that you're going to see today, because what you're going to literally see, you're going to see karmic clearing that's occurring in the cards. And what you're going to notice, I'm going to just show you, I'm going to give you that indication of what to look at. I want you to recognize where all the black was. I want you to recognize where all the black was yesterday in the reading. All the black was in the center, right in the center of the spread. And now you're going to notice that it's being pushed aside, right? It's moving on to the outskirts, because what's happening here is like you bring it forward. Remember what we spoke about? You bring it out so that you can clear it. Better out than in, right? And this is the energy that's like, I know what I'm going to do. And like, this is the energy going, I'm going to, like, no, this is the energy goes, you know what I could do? Not going to do that, but it's fun to talk about. Like, it's a little bit of that type of energy here, right? Because this is the energy that it's clearing the air. It's clearing the air. And that's what the energy within divine union does. They clear the air for each other. And sometimes when you clear the air, you got to like dust a little and it gets everywhere and then you clear it. Like, right? You got to get it out and then you poof, it's gone, right? While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, this is the energy that's having the air, like they're clearing the air, which is either means they're clearing the air for someone whose intentions seem like their best, even if they're creating turbulence at a time that you're moving deeper into partnership, right? The integrity of someone being like, no, they're doing that because they care and they're worried. Or the sense or the space of energy that's saying, well, now the air's clear. I see what their intentions are. I feel like there's something oppositional between what they aspire and desire versus what we're doing. And when we move into the pathwork of partnership, we have to recognize that we're going to be ready to disappoint others on the way, which is why some of the energy right now in separation, if this is energy that's immediately fallen into separation over this, I can see some energy saying, you can have them. You can have them. I don't want them. I can see the energy going, you can have them. I don't want them. If that's so important to you, you go ahead. Because this is the energy that's almost looking at someone and saying, if you want to stay in the shallow end of the pool, because you want to keep with the space of recognizing and identifying what the energetic majority desires for you, This is the energy saying you're never going to swim deep. This is the energy saying you may say that you want something, but you have to be ready to move away from the shallow end of the pool if you actually want to be in partnership. You got to be ready to move in the directionality away from what everyone else is articulating if you want something that is integral with another. So I see a lot of that energy now. This is a lot of that energy potentially moving away from someone in that point of separation, saying, I'm not looking back, because that is the energy that is feeling the audacity of someone that wasted their time, because when push came to shove, they were feeling too much anxiety about what others felt, instead of moving towards their integrity. While for masculine and feminine right now, this is why some of these new partnerships right now, articulating that occurred, building into that context, speaking towards that sense or that space of identifying and recognizing what one desires. This is the energy that says, I move slowly towards you because I respect and I don't want to damage what is around you. And that is beautiful. That is beautiful for the energy in separation. This is the energy saying, I move slowly towards you because I pay respect towards what is around you. This is the energy being mindful of how much it's taken and where they're finding each other and being conscientious in that way. This is the energy that doesn't move slowly because of a point of resistance. This is energy that recognizes the difference between someone that moves slowly because they don't want to move forward versus someone who moves slowly because they are careful. Continuing to get clarification between our Hierophant in combination with our Nine of Pentacles in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now. We're going to see listen, this is better than yesterday. We've got here some of this a lot of seven energy today in these cards. We've got here our Seven of Swords. But again, remember you see all the difficult cards are on the outskirts now, right? So a lot of that assessment, a lot of that combination force. This is the same lesson, same message that we spoke about a couple days ago. This is energy that is karmically clearing by being able to learn how to hold the past. How do we hold the past? Do we hold on to the past too tightly? No, we don't hold on to. Why don't we hold on to the past too tightly? Because when we hold on to the past too tightly, it becomes bitter. Right? You create bitterness. When we hold on to the past too tightly, it creates bitterness within the self. You don't let go of the past entirely. What happens when you let go of the past entirely? When you let go of the past entirely, you lose the ability to observe the energetic lessons of the past. So what do we see that the energy is doing right now? Across the frequencies, they're learning how to hold. They're observing. They're energetically observing the past and with an open palm. So that is the energy that considers the past, but is not affected by that consideration point, is observant of it, but does not let it to overshadow. So we see even now there's a lot of that sense or that space that is occurring here, specifically and particularly because this is the energy that says, I may be healing, but I'm ready. And the healing isn't the energy saying, like, it's great, it doesn't hurt anymore. This is the energy saying, I understand the hurt. It's not something I want to return back to. I'm very happy to be here, right? I'm in the present. The energy going, I am here. The past is back there, can't change it. The future is unwritten. I am here, and I'm ready to navigate those lessons. While for a lot of this energy right now coming into divine union, this is the energy that, again, parsing through. Look at this. Look, this is the energy in the present, feeling the weight and the prioritization of partnership, and then parsing if there's turbulence that's occurring around the energy coming into partnership, trying to ascertain if someone, again, is saying the difference between I'm sorry if I brought up concerns. I want what's best for you, versus someone saying, I'm just bringing up concerns because I know what's best for you, right? Right? This is that nuanced difference in someone bringing up a concern, which is a difference between someone saying, I genuinely care, I worry, I struggle, I ask because I care, and I want to make sure that you feel that same. Like, I'm not trying to create anxiety or upset. I just am bringing something forth because of a state of caring, versus someone saying, I don't want you going in that direction. I was expecting you to go that way. Are you sure you want to go that way? Like, again, like a little bit of that here. And so some of this feels like the energy saying, like, I understand. And it almost feels restorative, because that observation and understanding the integrity of someone coming forth and bringing something like that towards you, it feels stabilizing, because this is the energy saying, appreciating, being like, I've told them how far we've come. Right. And they were like, that's great, versus the energy saying, yeah, I told them. And they were still like, and this is the energy saying, I think that's not because it's because they were expecting or desiring a different direction. So there's a lot of clarity here. While for energy deep within divine union right now, a lot of this work that we're seeing, this is the energy that struggles with choices, because again, when we care about things, everything is an energetic struggle. But this is the energy I see even now, that, what recognizes that change in that process, we let go of things because we this is the energy saying, I wish there was like, I wish I could do more, but there's only so much energy I can put my concentration towards. Like, that's why I see even now there's a lot of that prioritization that's occurring, because this is the energy that is again saying, in that modality of everything is accomplishable on the vector of time. It just is a question of priority, right? So we see even now that this is the energy, again, this is the energy saying to one another, don't get overwhelmed if there's a lot to do. Remember, that's a blessing. Having a lot to do is a blessing. And how do you eat a whale? You eat a whale the same way you eat a mouse, one bite at a time. So this is the energy. This is the energy that's working through that and building into that space and making those plans and pacing themselves, not letting themselves get overwhelmed, saying, if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I just need to make this smaller, right? Continuing to get clarification between our Judgment card and our 10 of Pentacles in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through, and they're being unconventional in the process with our 3 of Pentacles in its reversal. Best time to play, like, time to do something, like, this isn't the energy feeling regret about wanting to do something and not doing it sooner. This is the energy that says, I do things when I'm ready to do them. Again, the reminder today for everybody, remember, you're never late to your own journey. You're never late to your own journey. If you're feeling frustrated today, if you're feeling disappointed, if you're feeling like something slipped your mind, I want you to say to yourself, I'm never late to my own journey. You can always, the moment and opportunity of correction is always available to you. Take the energetic lesson, be appreciative of it, move forward. Don't let yourself get caught, like again, these retrograde periods sometimes can create a little bit of this like sad violin kind of music. It's a nice song, but it doesn't get anything done, Just focus on the present. Focus on what is possible. Because I see even now that ability, and recognizing that everyone's doing their best they can in that way, right? Having to bring some patience, articulation, taking new approaches right now. I'm going to say it again. I say this all the time. The Mercury retrograde's job is not just here to ruin your day, right? Maybe maybe the bus breaks down. Maybe you take that walk. Maybe you meet someone you've never met before. That's why I keep saying, if you're having these moments right now during the retrograde, I don't want you sitting there like the ego is going to be like a little angry toddler. Look around. Ask, say, what am I supposed to do here? How can I use this opportunity, right? Allow for this, the unconventionality. Remember, the Mercury retrograde's here to help you recognize the difference between a groove and a rut. And sometimes, sometimes the only way you can see that is if you shake the snow globe gets shook a little bit, and sometimes when you feel it, it feels frustrating, but then you're like, oh, I didn't see that before, right? So allow that to be an opportunity. Allow this retrograde to be one that you don't get frustrated. You take a different perspective. You take a, embrace the side quest, continuing to get clarification between our 5 of Pentacles in combination with our 6 of Swords, 7 of Swords in its upright. One card to clarify. Justice card, because again, remember, sometimes when things come apart, we find better ways of putting them together. Sometimes if something is sometimes things break because they're too complicated. And often in those moments of like profound frustration that we're about to like knock everything off the table, we see something that we didn't expect to see there. We like something becomes clearer to us. But we have to kind of move out of that space that we get so focused or so myopic on what we're doing that it doesn't that it creates that ability of not being able to see what we could be doing. So allow a little bit of that energy today is what I'm seeing, because I see even now across all of the frequencies, there's like yesterday felt like that frustration point. Like yesterday felt like that. Like I told you, it's like when you punch through the wall and suddenly you see that there's another room behind the wall kind of thing, right? So yesterday was like the punching through the wall. And then today is like, wait, what's back there? Oh my gosh, there's so much space here. I didn't even see it, right? Sometimes allowing that frustration to drive us forward helps us see things that are like better in a way that we haven't before. So let that work today. Don't get frustrated. If something is not going the way you want, don't look down. Look up. Don't look down and grumble to yourself. Look around. Look up. Continuing to get clarification, final card for today's spread between our Three of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Justice card in its upright. One card, is it you? Okay, it wants to be this card. Okay, good. It was like the card that was sticking to the table. Is our Hangman in its reversal, you see? How do we innovate? Sometimes we gotta and this is why I was saying, don't worry about that. Don't get all stressed about the Tower popping up with the Death card energy yesterday. Because again, it's often in those moments when things are not working that we land upon something that does, right? And I see even now, there's a lot of that unconventionality here. A lot of that ability that is coming through right now. This is like literally, do you see this? I told you guys, as I was saying this to you guys, I was saying, don't look down, which would be the Hangman in its reversal. Look up, right? Look up, because a lot of that modality here, being able to recognize and have that difference of perspective, this is what is allowing for something to get easier. This is what's allowing for innovation. For a lot of this energy and separation, I see even now that may have to do with the way that one is perceiving the past, or something about the articulation of it, or something about sharing of those energetic experiences. Again, a little bit more of that open palm that we were speaking towards right now. Because a lot of that work that we're seeing that is occurring during this time, facilitating forward on that, this is the energy that, again, they open their palm on the past so that someone else can join them there, right? This is the energy that says, I've made peace with my past, which doesn't mean I've let it go entirely. It means I know how to hold it. It doesn't have a hold on me. I have a hold on it. And this is the energy that's ready to move forward. And for a lot of this energy right now, if there's energy that just fell into separation, this is the energy that I can hear them saying, I know what is a priority. I know what I hold, and I know what I shouldn't hold. And that's why I see that some of this energy that may have just fallen into separation over someone choosing something or making a choice from the ego instead of from the higher integral self. This is why the energy says, I've seen something that I can't unsee, which is difficult, but I'm not going to let it change my own trajectory. While for masculine and feminine, and that's why I see even now, like navigating that disappointment and saying, I'm angry to have seen it, but I'm glad to have seen it. This is the energy almost says to someone, thank you for saving me from something. If that's all it takes, or if that's what your integrity lies, While for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is deep within divine union, this is the energy that reaffirms to each other every moment that it's like a lot of this work that we see, it's not easy, but that's why it's important, right? And I see even now, like the only struggle point is if there's energy outside of a connection and someone like almost feeling like the weight of not recognizing the weight of something or not coming into that space. Like this is the energy that says, I recognize, again, the difference between someone saying, you're so lucky versus someone saying, you make it look so easy, right? Because there is no luck. There is no luck, right? A lot of that work is the facilitation of how hard we work and how effortless it looks. So, and I see even now, like there's a little bit of that energy here that says to one another, if someone else can't see that, I see that. And that is the gift that they give each other as counterparts. Bottom of the deck on this reading right now, Knight of Wands in its reversal. So, there's more, like I told you, there's a lot of this work that we see that is being navigated right now as it relates to the egoic self. And we're going to just talk, I know I've been talking a lot about this because it just keeps on coming through in these messages. The egoic self wants what it wants, when it wants it, doesn't want to compromise, doesn't want something a different way. No, they don't want to wait. They want to, it's the energy that, it's the angry toddler energy. You know what I mean? It's and you have to kind of we all have it inside of ourselves. None of us escape it. All of us are guilty of that, but it is how we navigate that, right? How we are being energetically present of that angry toddler within us that is energetically demanding. This is more of that work because the energy that's healing does not deny that that is there. The energy that's healing converses with it. Converse. You have those conversations with yourself. You say yo, you're being a brat right now. You're being an angry toddler. That sense or that space of wanting something just the way you want it. What happens when we want, and when we say that to the universe, when we say, this is what I want, and this is exactly how I want it, and no, I don't want to hear any negotiation about it, the universe looks at us and just shakes their head and goes, that's a shame, because I was about to give you something far beyond your wildest dreams. I was about to give you something far beyond your wildest dreams. But if you're so insistent on it, I guess, that's the thing. When we allow the egoic self to articulate our journey, when we don't say to the universe, bring it on in whatever way you want to bring it, I'm here for it. What we do is we limit the possibility of clarity. This is what we mean when we talk about clear seeing, which is recognizing that as long as we're not so driven and focused on the way we want something to be, but instead look around us for what we need, then in a way we change the way that we navigate the world, both within ourselves, around ourselves, and for each other. So I want you to be aspirational today. I don't want you to be prescriptive. Be aspirational. And if you have something that feels prescriptive, if you have something that says, no, it has to be like this, I want you to say back to yourself, why? Why are you so focused on that thing? What does it mean to you? Because that inquiry is the difference between a great manifestation and an egoic manifestation, right? So focus on that and allow it to allow that to kind of guide you forward. And if you're not, and here's something that'll help. If you're not sure about that, ask yourself, if what I'm asking for, is that something that you would give to others as well? That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, gracestrega.com. My private readings are done over video. And if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber name at the point of payment. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never call you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I will deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I encourage you to do it there. Also, a couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended my recent class on the Chariot card. Our next class will be held on Wednesday, December 18th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Strength card. I cannot wait to teach this class to you. One of my favorite cards in the deck. If you would like to become a part of our class program, all you need to do is head over to my Substack, graystrega.substack.com. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also get access to our full Tarot Church library. That is over 8 hours worth of classes related to the cards that we have studied thus far. It's not necessary to catch up. I'll be doing a recap in each and every class. The material is there for you when you are ready to receive it. You'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything that we've learned thus far and anything that we're actively learning. And if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you will also receive a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me where we will assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey, and I'll give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize the classes and also your own studies to the best of your advantage to reach your personal tarot goals. One of the things I tried to do with these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. Regardless of your level, there is something there for all of you. So thank you if you're already joining us there for the first time, and I look forward to seeing you at our next class. And if you are a subscriber here on TikTok, I would encourage you to head over to our subscriber-only Discord channel. There in the perks section, you will find a special coupon code that will give you an additional discount on those classes. Even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there, because there you will find all of the spreads for each and every one of our daily collective reads. If you are interested in seeing today's full spread, the photo will be posted there with the podcast. You'll also have access to my weekly newsletter, which will let you know about my in-person live events, as well as my online live schedule. You'll also be notified to our giveaway winners. Speaking of giveaways, we are going to be announcing the winner for our November giveaway this week over on Substack, so make sure that you're following me there. Finally, I want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for my students that are seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those are customized for each and every individual. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series. That is 4 45-minute classes, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I am very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again